Hi, welcome back to another book talk. I am here. I've been gone for a little bit, but I hope you didn't forget about me because I didn't forget about you. And I'm very excited to present a debut book. This is a really exciting one for me because it is a unique young adult book, and that the protagonist is unreliable, which is a rare thing to find in any kind of fiction book, but especially YA. So, without further ado, I'd like to present Rose Szabo's What Big Teeth. So, one of the things that first drew me to Szabo's book is this cover. I love the cover, and I think you're either going to love this cover or not like it, but I adore it. And I kept seeing it in publication releases until I finally was like, I must own this book. And of course, I'm going to read it. Um, this cover is very retro. If you take a look at what the young person on the front is wearing, it kind of harkens back to maybe the 40s or the 50s. It very much to me reminded me of like B movies from that time period, but a little bit more upscale. And it has these like beautiful little flowers, and the character looks so lovely. And then you just have like this massive gash right across the face. And of course, the what big teeth. And if you look at those teeth, they don't look quite human, do they? And so, the what big teeth, for those of you who are familiar with fairy tales, remind you of which one? Little Red Riding Hood. Okay, and so when Little Red Riding Hood says, Grandma, what big teeth you have, she is talking to bum, ba-dum, 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 ba-bum, a werewolf. And so you kind of get a little sneak peek into what supernatural thing may lay inside. So, Rose Szabo's book, they have a book filled with a variety of genres. So, I've already mentioned the supernatural angle. But this book is a beautiful mix of different genres. Definitely horror, if this title and this image doesn't give it away. Certainly, there is a mystery. Having an unreliable protagonist really plays into this well, too, because you're seeing things from her point of view. And so the protagonist's name is Eleanor. And so you're seeing it from Eleanor's point of view. She doesn't have everything, doesn't know everything. So you yourself, it's adding to what's going on. And I'll explain why she's unreliable in a moment. So besides supernatural, horror, mystery, it's definitely a thriller. It is a page turner. Lots of suspense. So you got that, whoo, I don't know what's going to happen next going on. Okay. So it all plays very beautifully, and it has this overlaying mood of gothic. So gothic horror. And if those of you who aren't familiar with that kind of gothic feeling, the first book I thought of, which is a classic, but it's been made into a movie a couple times, is Rebecca. And it's this, last night I dreamt of Manderley, and you have this sort of dread kind of spread out over the book. And it feels this very same way because you open up and it's a flashback. Okay. And then you quickly realize that Eleanor is on a train and she's heading back to Maine. And Maine is where the Zarins live. And the Zarin, she is a Zarin, that is the family estate. And she has been away at boarding school. And you quickly realize that this was not her choice. She was sent by the matriarch of the family, her grandmother. And on the estate are her grandmother, her grandfather, her parents, her aunt, her twin sister, and her cousin Reese, her aunt's son. And so they are a very tight knit family, yet for some reason she was banished. And I do mean banished. Now, when I talk about being an unreliable protagonist or narrator for you, I mean that our lovely protagonist, Eleanor, doesn't quite remember everything. In fact, she doesn't really remember much. She knows who the members of her family are. She knows some things about them, but most of her childhood is a blank, including her history, including her family's history. And she doesn't know why. And so for those of us like myself who have trauma, sometimes we have periods in our life that are blanks. And so she has that same sort of experience, which means that when she arrives, at the Zarin estate, she really feels confused. She doesn't really know what is happening. She doesn't know why she was sent away. And neither do her cousins, her cousin and her sister. They're thrilled to see her. They don't realize she was banished, so to speak. And she feels really lost. She doesn't really know what's happening. And things start to come back little by little. So you, as the reader, get to have that thrill of understanding who the members of the family are and aren't. And they're kind of like the Addams family, which is kind of interesting because Rose Szabo says in the afterword, they mention how they like the Addams family. And I was laughing because I thought, oh, that's kind of how I felt meeting this family. Like they're a little quirky and they're a little bit, I'm not sure. And because Eleanor doesn't remember, you really don't know either. So you're learning along with Eleanor. Now, why does she leave the boarding school? You know that she is on the run. That's all I can say. And Eleanor herself doesn't say either. It starts to come out. There are so many secrets in this family. And for those of you who live in a family, we all know that every family has its secrets. But this family, does it have its secrets? Now, the Zarin family lives sort of on top of a mountain, of a hill, and the village is below. And the Zarin family keeps to itself, and the villagers keep to themselves. And there is definitely a reason for this. And as things start to evolve, so does a little murder. Well, maybe it wasn't so little. So do some dead bodies. And as Eleanor gets more of her memory back, she recognizes the need in order to protect her family. So read this for the thrilling confusion that you yourself will feel, that Eleanor feels. Like, what is happening? What is going on? It can be really exciting to read from a protagonist's point of view who also is a little unsure about what's happening, because it adds to that suspenseful feeling. And then as pieces start to fall in place, you're like, oh, that's why that happened. If you love supernatural, if you love thrillers, you are going to love this book. Szabo did a wonderful job in this debut book. And I will tell you, if it wasn't for work, I would have had this done in a day. Instead, it took me 2 because, someone's got to make some money around here because I need to buy all my books. And Rose Szabo, they did a wonderful job, and you will not be disappointed. So definitely pick this up. Try something different. And until I talk to you next time, happy reading and take care. Thank you.